Good evening, everyone. Welcome to ESL. If you're able to hear me and see me, please show me a big thumbs up. Thank you. Thank you. I can see the participants Aditi, Akash, Alvina, Amrita, Jayanti, Neha, Ranjita, Vinuta, Zainab. Welcome to the webinar. We'll give 1 or 2 minutes for the other participants as well to join us, and then we'll get started. If you're able to see my screen, I presented a screen called Welcome to ESOL webinar series. Could you show me a peace sign? Thank you. Thank you very much. Lovely. Thank you so much. Thank you. It's good to see many names from last week again. Let's give a minute or two for the other participants to join. Thank you. How is the weather like in your city today? You can type in the chat box. Is it better than before? Not that hot? Hi, Ranjita, Vinuta. Good evening. We have other teachers joining as well. Thank you. Let's quickly talk about what the title of this webinar is. This webinar is all about effective approaches to teaching grammar in ESOL classrooms. In simple English, how do you teach grammar? How to make it fun? First of all, in this lesson, in this webinar, we're going to be talking about two very important concepts related to grammar. Number one, syntax. What is a syntax? And number two, morphology. What is the meaning of morphology? After that, we'll play some games and there are some activities. You have to participate across for the next 1 hour. It says 45 minutes, but we're going to be stretching it to, it may stretch to 1 hour as well, like it happened last time. We just don't want to finish activities. We want to make sure that there's valuable addition to our time being spent here. Just one disclaimer though, this webinar is for teachers. I repeat, this webinar is for teachers. I suppose the email was sent to almost 14,000 students at the school. That included teachers as well. So in case you're one of the students, you can very well be a part of this webinar, not a problem, but this is primarily meant for teachers. Thank you. We're also going to be talking about some important strategies, point number 3, for exploring grammar. And how do you explain that in an ESL classroom, English as a second language classroom. And finally, we're going to be talking about different types of grammar practice activities, which is something that you can make use of. Just one moment. I just want to make sure that everybody can hear. All right, I've just received a message from the team that you can hear me and see me. So let's get started. First of all, let's talk about who am I to be conducting this webinar. My name is Krishna Triya. I work with ESOL in the capacity of an academic manager. I live in London. I have a few qualifications, PhD, MPhil, and MSc in business and ESL teaching. I've been in the ESL industry for the last 15 years, and it gives me absolute joy, immense pleasure to be connecting with the teaching community like yourselves, to work with and keep our, what do you say, making sure that we provide value to our students. I'm afraid there's no participation certificate, Devashri. Um, thank you. So let's move ahead. This webinar is solely meant for your professional development. There are a lot of activities that are coming your way. So get ready to participate. But certificate we're going to be issuing possibly from the next webinar, but not from this one. If you're ready, show me a big thumbs up. Yes, you are ready. Show me a big thumbs up, please. Excellent. Thank you. Lovely. That's great. Superb. And if you're able to type in the Q&A section, could you also type yes? I just want to make sure that everybody's able to type yes in the Q&A section. Thank you, Sagar, Ranjita, Amrita, Devashri, Neha, Jayanti, Vinuta, Alvina, Urmila, Mezabeen, Zainab, Aditi, Swati, Tasneem. So many familiar names, a lot of friends joining. Welcome back, guys. Happy to see you here. So let's get started. A very important day is coming ahead of us. I have activity number 1. It's on the screen. You get a total of, although I've written 5 minutes, but not 5 minutes, you get a total of 1 to 2 minutes. You have to tell me, what is grammar? Please don't use ChatGPT or the internet. Just use your mind. What is grammar? What is your definition of grammar? I'll give you 1 minute. Can you take a moment and let us know in the Q&A section, please? What is grammar? I'm going to start the timer here. We get a total of 2 minutes. You can frame your definition and type in the chat box. Q&A section. Time starts now. Thank you, Urmila, Aditi, Neha. I'm just going to give, thank you, Tasneem. Very nice, Tasneem. Very nice definition. I'm just going to give you all 1 minute here, and then I'll start speaking and we'll work together. Thank you. Thank you. So many people have texted. So we'll start with Tasneem. Tasneem says, grammar means it's a skeleton of language. Wow, very philosophical. Very nice, Tasneem. Urmila, grammar is way to use any language in a sensible way. Agree. Aditi, grammar refines your English. Lovely. Neha, speak and write correctly. Oh, wow, that's a very simple and straightforward definition. That's right. Devashri, grammar is the building blocks of any language. Aditi, Serene, the way in which somebody uses the rules of language. That's right. Vinutha, set of rules of forming and arranging words. Priyanka, set of rules for language. Zainab, fundamental concepts required in understanding of English as language. Lovely. Jayanti, grammar can be defined as structural way. Structure, Mezabeen, important part of English language assessment. Alvina, helps to frame sentences. Okay, cool. Mona is not able to hear us. Mona, I think it's the network problem with you. Try rejoining, please. Thank you so very much. Can we clap for everybody? Thank you. I think everybody is right. There was a research that was conducted recently. Thank you for the claps. There was a research that was conducted recently, and they said this is the definition of grammar. It's a little bit technical, but it does not mean what we said was not right. It says, The term grammar includes syntax and morphology. But there's another important question. What the hell is syntax and morphology? Does anybody know? What the hell is syntax and morphology? Thank you, Sagar. Feel free to put your answers in the chat box. Aditi says, no idea, not a problem, that's okay. It's quite a weird combination of words anyway. Ranjita, you're right. Thank you. Aditi, good idea. Yep, I agree. Thank you. Anybody else? Morphology means outer structure. That's nice, Jayanti. Thank you. Thank you, Devashri. That's a good definition. Thank you, Sagar. Yep, I agree with you. Lovely. Thank you so much. Thank you. All of you are right. I've written a short definition of syntax and morphology here, but I put the words in jumbled format. Can anybody please tell me the answer in the chat box, please? Let's see who's able to type first. I'll give you 1 minute. What is syntax and what is morphology? Thank you. We have to give credit to Devashri. Very good, Devashri. That's right. Thank you, Urmila. And what is morphology? Right? Everybody's right. Thank you. What is morphology? Deals with the grammar of single words. Thank you, Sagar, Urmila, Ranjita, Devashri again. Lovely. Thank you so much. So let me show you the answers on the next slide very quickly. Syntax का क्या मतलब होता है? Very simple. Syntax means how you put words together, how words are chosen and are combined together to make a sentence. I repeat, how different words are chosen and combined together to make a sentence. That's called syntax. For example, हम बोलते हैं I am a teacher. We don't say I are a teacher or I a teacher because the words are not used correctly. So a combination of words that come together to form a sentence, that's called a syntax. अगर ये समझ में आया तो show me a thumbs up, please. If you want me to repeat, show me a peace sign. समझ में आया तो thumbs up. If you want me to repeat, show me a peace sign. Okay, ठीक है. On the other hand, morphology is it deals with grammar of single words. Now, this is quite interesting. What is the meaning of grammar of single words? For example, you do not say slepted. I slepted last night, or I slept last night. You say I slept last night. So morphology related होती है single words से, single words की grammar से, and syntax related होता है पूरे sentence की grammar से. Yeah. So grammar is a combination of two words. How words come together to form a sentence is the syntax, and how within one word grammar word the prefixes and suffixes, I think Devashri or somebody had said it, is used. That's called morphology. If we understand this, show me a thumbs up. Perfect. So दोबारा से last time repeat करेंगे. Syntax क्या होता है? How words come together to form a sentence. For example, I am a teacher is a syntax to form a sentence. On the other hand, morphology is grammar of one particular word. For example, how do we say I slept, not I slept last night? So, and another example is includes features like plural, that is S of nouns and the past tense of verbs. So Combination of two words, of these two things, is linguistically speaking is the definition of grammar. But why are we talking about all of this? Because अगली slide में हम एक बहुत अच्छा सा game खेलने वाले हैं. Are you ready for that game? Show me a thumbs up if you're ready. I'm just going to give you one moment. Thank you very much. I'm just going to give you one moment. If you have, what was I saying? If you have any questions from this slide, please feel free to type in the Q&A section so that I can see time to time. My Q&A section is open and feel free to ask any questions. We're going to play a game now. I have written 10 sentences related to syntax and morphology. I repeat, I have written 10 sentences related to syntax and morphology. Read the sentence and tell me, is it about syntax or is it about morphology? For example, we're going to do number one together. Number one is adding ed to form the past tense of the verb, regular verbs. What is it? Syntax or morphology? For the yes, lovely. Thank you, Urmila, Tasneem, Vinita, Aditi, Ranjita. Sorry, Vinuta, this is morphology. So I'm just going to write M here. Why morphology again? Because it is related to single word. When it is related to single word, it is morphology. I'll give you 4 minutes to do the rest of it yourself. There's no competition. Write all the answers in one single message and then press enter. Don't write single answers. Just write all and number them properly, please. You have a total of, how much time do you have for this activity? There's no competition, so don't be in a rush to type answers. Take your time. We have 4 minutes. I'm going to give you some time. Time starts now. Thank you. I'll repeat it for Priyanka. Priyanka, you have to decide if the sentences are related to syntax or morphology. Thank you. Thank you, Aditi, Ranjita, Urmila, Devashri for the answers. Waiting for other people. There's no rush. Take your time. Thank you. 1 minute to go. There's no rush. Thank you. Bingo. Thank you very much. Time is up. Let's check the answers together. Number 2 is, I'm just going to be putting the answers together, okay? You can keep checking it. Number 2 is syntax. Thank you to all the friends who have put their answers in the chat box. I'll call out your names. Priyanka, Sagar, Neha, Alvina, Aditi, Zainab, Vinita. There are 2 Aditis. Ranjita, Urmila, Devashri. Thank you to all the friends for putting the answers. For those who have not put the answers, feel free to participate, guys. We are not looking for correct answers, wrong answers. We're just looking for an honest and fun participation. So number 2 is syntax. Number 3 is morphology. Number 4 is syntax. Number 5 is morphology again. Number 6 is syntax. Apparently, because it is related to sentences. Number 7 is morphology again. Quite straightforward. Number 8 is syntax. Zigzag, zigzag. And number 9 is morphology. Number 10 is syntax. Any questions from here? If you have any questions, feel free to ask in the chat box, please. Thank you. Who all have all the correct answers? Show me a thumbs up if you have all the correct answers. In the Q&A section, otherwise I will not be able to see. Okay. Some people have it. If some of your answers are different, 9 on 10. Vinita is saying, lovely, you're welcome. Cool, lovely. 9 on 10 is a very good number as well. That's all right. That's all right. We have a lot of other activities that are coming up. So I hope, itna ho gaya hai. I hope you understand syntax ka kya matlab hota hai and morphology ka kya matlab hota hai. Now there's something very important to understand. Dhyan se suno. As a teacher, as a linguist, it is very important and it's your responsibility to help your students understand the syntax of a word and the morphology of a word. There's a very important rule that I'm going to say. There's a very important tip that I will be giving during the journey of this webinar today. And I will ask you, so you have to listen carefully. You have to tell me what tip did I give, which was very important as a teacher. I'm not going to give that tip now. It was just going to slip out of my mouth, but I'm not going to give that tip to you right now. So be very, very attentive. I'm going to be asking you for that tip when the right activity comes. Are there any questions from here? If no, show me a peace sign and I will move to the next activity. Aditi is saying, could you please check your connection once? Can everybody hear me properly, or is it Akash and Aditi only? Okay, it's my network. Just one moment. Okay, it's getting stuck. The team is telling me. Give me one moment. Can you imagine? London has a very bad network area as well. Okay. Is it better now? Okay. Thank you, Jayanti. All right, cool. Is it better now? Okay, thank you. Thank you so much, Akash, Alvina, Sagar. My apologies for the network. Here we go. So I was saying that if you if I can move ahead to the next activity, please show me a peace sign. Okay. All right, let's move to the next activity. Now, I started teaching in the year 2009, and I I had an opportunity to teach in Poland, for a long time in London, India, and around the world with different nationalities. And in the ELT industry, there are many research papers, and there's a debate that's going on. So I welcome you to the next activity. This activity is called the grammar debate. We'll spend about 10 minutes on this activity. So in the ELT industry, by the way, before we move to this activity, can you please tell me? Okay, I'm breaking up again. So sorry, I don't know what's wrong. You'll have to bear with me today. I'll get the internet sorted and checked for the next webinar. Voice is breaking up. Okay. Let me try switching off my camera for a little while. I'm going to turn off my camera for a little while so that at least you're able to hear me properly. Can you hear me properly now? Better, but not clear. Okay. Let me try changing the place where I am. Yeah, just give me one moment. Is it better now? Let me know. I've tried changing the place where I was seated before. ठीक है. All right. Thank you so much. So let's get started. So I was earlier mentioning that there's a debate that's going on in the ELT industry. But before, thank you. But before we move to the debate, I want to ask you how many of you are teachers of English? Could you let me know? Could you say I in the Q&A section? I just want to see how many teachers there are. Okay, Aditi, Devashri, thank you. Because the debate that we're coming to, we'll be able to connect with it better. Thank you, Sushma. Okay, Zainab, Vinita, Alvina, Hetal, Urmila. Good. So there are many teachers. Mona, lovely, Ranjita. Superb. Thank you, Sushma. So there's a debate in the ELT industry. Let me show you what the debate is. The debate is this. Just one moment. Here we go. This is the debate. Should, as teachers, we worry about grammatical accuracy if mistakes don't interfere with meaning? Listen to the sentence once again. Should we, as teachers of English, worry about grammatical accuracy if mistakes don't interfere with meaning? That means, सिंपल भाषा में बोला जाए तो ग्रामर चाहे आपकी गलत हो लेकिन अगर मीनिंग समझ में आ रहा है तो ज्यादा फोकस मत दो ग्रामर पर. Do you guys agree or disagree with this? Let me know in the chat box. Yeah. Okay. So I'm going to start a poll now. There are 4 options that you have in the poll. You have about 30 seconds to answer. Please read the question. Should we worry about grammatical accuracy if mistakes don't interfere with meaning? Please read the options carefully and give your answers. Thank you. There's a lot of research that has been done on this very question. Let's see what you guys, the real teaching community, feels about it. 11 teachers have answered, waiting for other people as well. If you're not a teacher, but if you're present in the room, please do answer. 52% of the participants have answered, waiting for other people. 9 teachers, 11 teachers left. If you're in the room, please answer the question. Should we worry about grammatical accuracy if mistakes don't interfere with meaning? What do you guys feel? Okay. So please have a look. There are only 14 teachers who have answered. There are 25 people with us right now in the room, but 14 teachers have answered. 57% of you think, yes, accuracy is essential. Thank you very much. For example, I have written 2 examples for us. Have a look at the screen, please. The examples are, if somebody is dropping the S when saying the sentence, she likes ice creams. Instead of saying she likes, you say she like ice creams. मीनिंग समझ में आ रहा है तो ग्रामर पर इतना ध्यान मत दो. ऐसा डिबेट है रिसर्च कम्युनिटी में, जो हमारे जैसे लिंग्विस्ट्स हैं जो पीएचडी करते हैं, वो इस डिबेट पर आंसर बुक्स लिख रहे हैं, आर्टिकल्स लिख रहे हैं जानने के लिए दैट इज इट गुड और इज इट बैड. Something like, a lot of people have problems, especially linguists. Teachers also make problems with, have errors related to which and who, relative clause, the man which drove fast or the man who drove fast. So, so there's a lot of debate around it. But the question is, why are we talking about this debate? I repeat, why are we talking about this debate? So recently, this gentleman called Ruthoft and Breeze, there are 2 different people, in the year 2016, conducted a research. They answered this question in 2 different areas. Strict standards. Only listen to me, please don't complete the task. Don't read the screen, just listen to me, please. They answered this question in 2 different ways. They said it depends on the standards, either strict standards or lenient standards. Please read the sentences on the left-hand side and fill in the blank spaces with the words in the panel on the right-hand side. We get a total of 2 minutes to do this, and then we'll check the answers together. If you understand the game, show me a thumbs up, please. Sorry, Sagar. Thank you so much. I'll keep that in mind. Thank you. Okay, I will repeat it once again. According to research that is conducted by Ruthoft and Brees 2016, they said the answer to this question, that grammatical accuracy, uh, if it does not interfere with the meaning, it's not important. So they decided to answer this question because this was a debate that was going on for decades and decades. So fill in the blank spaces, as you can see on the left-hand side, with the words in the panel on the right-hand side here. That's all. Now do you understand? Just repeat it, Sushma. Okay, cool. Thank you. I'll give you 2 minutes. Time starts now. If you're done, please simply put your answers in the chat box, all in one single message. Thank you. Thank you, Devashri. Okie dokie, let's check the answers. Thank you. So the answer to the first question is students have expressed wish to be corrected. बहुत सारे courses, a lot of courses this happens that Sagar's requested me to not speak in Hindi because he doesn't understand it. So I'll just keep it to English, no problem. A lot of students have, it's actually experienced that a lot of students actually complain against teachers, especially when they're not corrected in the classroom. So if the students are on a course with you, they are expecting to be corrected. So they have expressed, according to research, they wish to be corrected. Number two, high stakes exams such as IELTS, TOEFL, PTE, they can penalize students, especially if the standard forms are not right. Um, number number three, there are certain educational policies in certain countries that often support teaching conventional grammar, and it happens quite a lot in India. And number two, a lot of teachers, a lot of you, 52% of you said that strict standards should be followed. But what about we are talking about lenient standards, such as if meaning is clear, listen carefully, if meaning is clear, minor errors may not matter. Sometimes. Why does it happen? Especially when you're trying to boost, especially when you're trying to boost your students, please listen carefully, especially when you're trying to boost your students' fluency. So, for example, if you're teaching a course that is related to spoken English or everyday English, where the focus is on real life, where the target is fluency, then if they make errors here and there, we don't have to correct them all the time, according to research. Number two, in informal conversation or texting, accuracy is less important. So they said, for once and for all, we're going to be answering this question. It depends on the standards. If you're teaching a course that has strict standards, for example, high stake exams, then make sure that there is a lot of focus on accuracy. However, if you're focusing on courses with lenient standards, such as spoken English, then the focus should be more on conversation rather than just being corrected all the time, where the students feel uncomfortable. So this is something very, very important that research has found out. You can also read about it. It's called Ruthhoft and Breeze 2016. But then how is it related to what we are discussing right now? I repeat, how is it related to what we are discussing right now? Have a look at the next screen. There are three things that we should understand. We should understand, number one, in most situations, teach students to observe conventional grammar rules. That means in 90% of the situations, tell your students that you need to be careful about the conventional grammar rules, but don't force them. Next one, as a teacher, as a linguist, try to be flexible in other different contexts. For example, 54% of you said that, let me look at the results again, that accuracy is crucial, always crucial. 61% of you said it. However, there is a flip side to it. It depends on the context as well. It's not crucial almost all the time. It depends on the context. And number three, this is very important. Standard forms. Now, this is one of my most important points, so listen carefully. Standard forms are those that are used by majority of people who speak English, not native speakers. This is a very, 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 very important point. Listen again. Standard forms are the ones that are spoken by majority of the English speakers around the world, not just by native speakers. So for example, I'm going to give you a very interesting example. During the 19th century, a man was called beautiful and a woman was called handsome. I repeat, listen carefully. A man was called beautiful and a woman was called handsome. But as we came to the 21st century now, you can see the transition that a man is called handsome and a woman is called beautiful. Why did the rules change when the books said the opposite? I repeat, why did the rules change when the books said the opposite? It's very simple. We change with time. I repeat, we update ourselves and we change with time. So now the rules of grammar are not the ones that are spoken by native speakers. It is the ones spoken by majority of the English speakers. As a linguist, as a teacher, you can ask your students to observe conventional grammar rules, but you should also learn to be flexible in certain contexts. If you understand this, show me a peace sign. Thank you. It's a need of our. Yes, I agree with Priyanka. Thank you. Thank you very much. Lovely. Let's move on. But there are three factors that you should consider. You should consider what is the type of course that you're teaching. You should also consider the communicative context. What is the meaning of that? Is it formal or is it informal, where accuracy is not a major thing? And number two, whether the error affects the basic meaning. For example, if communication is broken and the basic meaning is difficult to understand, then accuracy becomes very important. So far, if you see, what have we understood in the webinar? We have understood what is grammar, what is the difference between syntax and morphology, what is the debate around grammar, and what does the research say what we should keep in mind. I repeat, what does the research say what we should keep in mind? So the takeaway is, ladies and gentlemen, make sure your students observe conventional rules. As a teacher, be flexible in certain contexts. Today, in 21st century, Rules are those that are spoken by majority of English speakers worldwide, according to research, not spoken by the native speakers. Three things that we should keep in mind is what kind of course you're teaching. So be flexible. What kind of context it is in which your students are using the language. Give them the opportunity to make mistakes. And most importantly, if the basic meaning is not getting hampered, I repeat, if the basic meaning is not getting hampered, don't worry about correcting them all the time. This is something very important. So far, any questions from here? You can type yes or a no in the chat box. Thank you, Urmila, Sagar, Sushma. Any questions? All right, lovely. Let's move ahead. Now I'm going to show you a concept that's super duper important. Have you ever, please listen to the question carefully, have you ever learned about explicit and implicit teaching? Let's discuss it very quickly. Do you know what is explicit teaching or implicit teaching, please? Okay, Aditi says no idea, no problem. Any other person? It's quite similar to inductive teaching and deductive teaching. We discuss it in more detail during our TESOL program and other teacher training programs, but lovely. Thank you, Devashri. Devashri says explicit means we tell them the answers. Implicit means we guide them. Okay. Thank you. Any other person? Cool. So let's have a look at what is, first of all, the background. Stephen Krashen, there's something called Krashen theory. When I was doing my TESOL course many years ago, I learned the Stephen Krashen theory. So Stephen Krashen is a very, very famous researcher in the world of applied linguistics. Stephen Krashen argues that implicit teaching, I repeat, implicit teaching through comprehensible input. Now, what is the meaning of all of this? I repeat, what is the meaning of all of this? Implicit teaching through comprehensible input. We're just going to be looking at it in a short while. Stephen Krashen basically argues that you must follow implicit teaching, but there should be a component of comprehensible input. That means you must show students how the language is used in real life context. Other people believe that explicit explanation is very important. That means it doesn't matter if you show real life application or not, you must show them the rules in which they are followed and followed by practice. I repeat, Stephen Krashen says, make sure that there is a lot of real life application. Other people say, well, to hell with real life application, make sure that you're explicitly mentioning the rules and making students practice more. Now, I want to ask you, whose idea do you support more? Stephen Krashen's, you can write SK in the chat box, or O for others. And in case you want me to repeat, just write R or repeat. Okay. Thank you, Jamit, Akash, Urmila. Urmila wants me to repeat. Stephen Krashen says, focus on real life application of the language. For example, if you're talking about conditionals, show them a video related to imagination. Others say, well, don't show them the video, focus on the rules. Rules are very important. If they know the rules, they will be able to speak better in real life. So whose idea do you support more? Stephen Krashen's idea or others idea? Sagar says combination of both. Ranjita says others. Many people are saying SK. Okay, let's move on. Let's see what is the third point about. Thank you so much for your answers. Research shows benefits to both approaches. And to be honest, if you ask me what kind of a teacher am I will say I am largely an SK teacher. All my life, I've been an SK teacher. I was trained to be like this. It does not mean that this is wrong. Most of the Indian teachers, 95% of the Indian English teachers that you see are others type because they approach a lot of rule-based learning, 95% of them. But when you do a TESOL program or a CELTA program, you become a combination of both, but largely you become SK, Stephen Krashen. You focus on the real life application quite a lot. Yeah. So this is the most important thing that we understand. So I have some examples here. Let's play a game. If you understand this much, show me a peace sign, please. And then I'll move to the next activity. If you have any questions, type in the chat box. Okay, thank you very much. Let's move on. So let's play a game. I've written 4 sentences here, and there are some blank spaces. Okay. There are 4 sentences, and there are some blank spaces. Fill in the blank spaces with either explicit or implicit. Please do this yourself. There's no rush. Take 4 minutes to do this, and then we'll check the answers together. If you understand the game, show me a thumbs up. Okay, time starts now. Okie dokie, let's check the answers. Thank you very much. Most of you are done anyway. Number 1 is explicit. Number 2 is implicit. Fill in the blanks is explicit. Implicit is number 4, and number 5 is explicit. So E-I-E-I-E. So what is explicit? Explicit is particularly direct explanation of the rules. I repeat, direct explanation of the rules is called explicit. Implicit basically means exposing students to the correct forms by showing the real world application. And I'm going to be displaying to you in today's lesson, in today's webinar, I'm going to be showing you two different teaching methods. I repeat again, explicit means talking about the rules. Implicit means a real world application. If you understand this, show me a thumbs up. No problem, Hetal, that's okay. Perfect. Thank you, Alvina. Waiting for other thumbs ups. Lovely. Thank you. So you have to decide what kind of a teacher are you largely, most importantly. And sometimes the answer to this question is not that easy. There's so much depth to it as well. Explicit means जो बहुत ज़्यादा rules पर ध्यान देते हैं. Means people who follow too much, focus too much on rules. Implicit means people who focus on, or teachers, not people, teachers who focus on real world application. Now, I have been since day one, ever since I started teaching in 2009, I have been an implicit teacher, but there is importance for both. And there was a very important question that was asked by Hetal in the chat box. The question was why Indian teachers focus on the rules, to which I answered, it largely depends on the education system, which emphasizes a lot on exams and testable knowledge. It has also fit traditionally with a more structured approach, which is quite influenced by how we have learned since the British colonial system. But it is changing now. Yeah. Thank you very much. So I have a little game here. I've written a set of exercises on the screen. I repeat, I've written a set of exercises on the screen, 10 sentences, exercises. You have to decide, actually, they're not exercises. There are different pros and cons of explicit and implicit grammar teaching exercises, different kinds of exercises. You have to decide, is it for explicit or is it for implicit? So there are pros and cons of both. Let's do number one together. It provides clear rules and explanation. So is it explicit or implicit? Explicit. Very good. I'm going to give you 2 minutes. Let's do the rest of it ourselves, and then we'll check the answers together. If you understand the game, show me a thumbs up. Time starts now. Thanks. All right, let's check the answers. Number 2 is implicit. Then we have explicit. Number 3 is explicit. Number 4 is explicit. 5 is implicit. 6 is explicit, then implicit. Next is explicit, explicit, and sorry, 8 and 9 are explicit, my apologies, and 10 is implicit. Same answers, different answers. How many answers do you have correct? This is very important from today's lesson. Explicit teaching क्या होता है and what is implicit teaching? How many correct, incorrect? 6 correct. That's a good one. Jayanti, what about other people? 8. Hetal, Devashri 8. Priyanka 7. That's a good one. Ranjita 6. Super. Vinita 7. Lovely. Tasneem 8. Sagar 9. Lovely. That's good. Vinita 7. Urmila 9. Alvina 6. All right. What about other teachers in the room? Kirti 7, Urmila 9. Lovely. Thank you. Okay, let's move ahead. Thank you so much for talking about it in more detail. Now, please have a look. What is the sensible conclusion? The sensible conclusion is, please remember, take a screenshot of this. I repeat, what is the sensible conclusion? It's on the screen. For good learning of grammar in English courses, as a teacher, focus on communicative input-output with explicit teaching. I repeat, the most important thing that we understand from this lesson is focus on communicative input-output with explicit teaching. That means do not only teach explicit and do not only do communicative. Make sure there is explicit teaching, but largely there should be communicative input-output. That means real life application of it as well. That's what we understand from today's lesson, from today's webinar. This is what we understand from today's webinar. That is, you as a modern teacher have to focus on explicit teaching, but largely you have to focus on communicative input-output. I repeat, communicative input-output. This is the most important conclusion that we have from today's webinar. I'm very conscious of the time. I always make the webinars and then I only see that we've spent so much time on it. So I'm conscious of the time. There are 5 minutes. It's 5 o'clock here. I'm sure it is 9:30 for you. Do you guys have extra 15 minutes? Do you guys have extra 15 minutes or? Okay, cool. Lovely. So I'm going to take 15 more minutes, okay? So I'm going to teach live. I repeat, I'm going to teach live and you have to give me marks. I repeat, I'm going to teach live and you have to give me marks. But I will follow 2 methods, model A and model B. You have to tell me which model was better. Are you ready? I may not do the best. I repeat, please listen to me very carefully. I may not do the best, but all I want to show you is the 2 different models of teaching. So with that, you'll be able to understand what is explicit, what is implicit. That's why I'm taking 15 more minutes. If you're ready, then say big yes in the chat box. Excellent. Lovely. Thank you, Amrita. Akash, Kirti, okay. I so wanted to turn on my camera doing this, but I'm conscious that the network may be bad again. If it fluctuates, let me know, please, okay? Okay. So I'm going to do it right now. So you have to give me marks on the basis of 5 things. You have to give me marks on the basis of 5 things. Number 1, am I using contextual examples? Am I giving context to the lesson? Number 2, am I clarifying form and meaning together? Number 3, am I concise or am I elaborating too much? Number 4, am I using pictures and visuals? And number 5, am I using L1 if necessary? Take a picture of this. You have to give me marks and you have to give me comments in the chat box related to this. If you've taken the screenshot, give me a peace sign. Okay, I'm going to start now. Ready? I'm going to start now. Okay, here we go. This is model A. I'm going to be teaching today present continuous versus present simple. Hi, everybody. I'm your teacher, Krish. In today's lesson, we will understand the difference between present continuous, I am doing, versus present simple, I do. Before we start, let me show you the timeline. I repeat, let me show you the timeline. Please have a look. When it comes to present continuous, this is past, this is now, and this is present. Action is happening at this moment in time. That means right now. So for example, I am teaching. You are, fill in the chat box. You are. What are you doing right now? Look at me gesticulating, learning, listening. Very good. Very nice. Excellent. Similarly, what am I doing now? Balle balle. What am I doing now? I am dancing. Thank you, Aditi. I am dancing. So what do we understand? Listen very carefully. In present continuous, we focus on things that are happening right now and in continuity. I repeat, right now and in continuity. The action is not complete. For example, the water is boiling. People are talking. I'm living with my friends until I find my place. So this is still continuing. So this is present continuous. All right, this is model number 1. I wanted to do this for model number 2 as well. I wanted to do this for I do present simple as well. But largely, I wanted to show you what I wanted to show you. Now, look at this once again. And I want to see your comments. I'm going to put this in the chat box for your reference. I'm going to put this in the chat box for your reference. You have to tell me, how was I? Did I give you contextual examples? Yes or no? Yeah. Did I tell you the form and the meaning? Form and the meaning. Question number 2. Form and the meaning. No, I did not tell the form. I was only talking about largely the words uh, meaning, dancing, etc. So I was largely focusing on happening right now. I did not elaborate on the use of ing. I did not elaborate on the use of is mr. So the answer to that question is no, I was a bad teacher. Number 3, was I concise or was I talking too much? Either write C for concise and TTM for talking too much. I feel like laughing right now. I was talking too much. I was not concise. Was I concise? Did I give you the chance to speak? Or I was talking too much in those 2 minutes? I was talking too much. I'm afraid I'll give myself a 0 for that. Did I show you visuals? Yes or no? I showed the timeline. So yeah, that was a good thing that I did. I showed the timeline. And let me tell you something. If you go to big schools, they will ask you questions, how will you teach grammar? And this is the answer to that question. Always tell in the interviews that I will teach grammar using timelines. Listen to me very carefully again. Always tell those big schools that I will teach grammar using timelines. That's the answer to the interview question. A lot of the teachers, even after years of experience, do not know how to answer this question. If they ask you, how do you make grammar fun? They say, ye karenge, wo karenge, I will do this, I will do that. They don't say one single thing. Teach it using timelines. Yeah, there were no pictures. It was only timeline that I showed. Yes, that's right. And I did not use L1. So if I have to give myself marks out of 5, I will give 1 or 2. The only 1 or 2 things that I did good. Now, this is called implicit teaching or explicit teaching. Explicit teaching. This is Devashri. This is not implicit teaching. This is explicit because I am talking too much and I'm giving out the rules. You're the one who gave me the answer. Come on. I'm giving out the rules. This is explicit teaching. Now, let's have a look at the next teaching method. If you're ready for modern teaching, show me a thumbs up. Ladies and gentlemen, this is called modern teaching. We're going to be moving to the next one. Model B. Are you ready? Excellent. Okay, let's start now. Hi, everybody. Let's start today's lesson. Before we start, I want to ask you, what did you do last Sunday? Can you tell me in the chat box? What did you do last Sunday? One sentence is fine, short sentence. Went to the shop, visited parents, slept at home, slept the entire day. What a life, my God, slept the entire day, wonderful. Went to church, had dinner in a hotel, lovely, thank you. We're going to be listening to a lady, her name is Sarah. I will play the recording. Please listen to Sarah and tell me what did Sarah do last Sunday, or what is she going to do now? If you understand the game, show me a thumbs up. Perfect. I'm not going to play the recording for you. I'm just giving this to you as an example. Okay, lovely. So Sarah is going to do this. Sarah's going to do that. Lovely. Perfect. I will play the recording one more time. This time you have to fill in the blank spaces. So listen to the recording and fill in the blank spaces. Now, I'm not going to play the recording for you because it's going to take a long time otherwise. What I'm trying to say is that I will play the recording and I'm asking students to give me the rules. Many sentences already likhe hue hain. I have already written the sentences and I'm asking students to give me the correct form of the word. I repeat, I'm asking students the correct form of the verb. They will put every Sunday we go to the cinema, and at the moment my dad is preparing a meal. So what am I doing? I'm asking students to fill in the blank spaces based on the audio. Now, step number 3. Please answer these 2 questions with your partners. I'm going to put them in pairs and I'm going to ask them, focus on the steps of the lesson that I'm following. Number 1, I ask them group discussion. What did you do last Sunday? I made them talk. Number 2, I activated their listening skills by asking them, listen to Sarah, tell me what is she doing this Sunday or whatever. Activating their listening skills. Number 3, I asked them to listen carefully and focus on the meaning and the form. They had to fill in the blank spaces. Step number 3. Step number 4, I want to check if they understand the meaning again. So they will ask and answer these questions with their partners, and they will share the answers with me. Step number 4, I will show them the timeline. Now look at the timeline. Action is happening right now. Sarah's dad is preparing the meal right now, and Sarah likes to dance on Sundays. Yeah. So likes to dance. It is a fact. It is a habit. So I will show the picture and the timeline. And step number 5, I will ask them to interview each other, talking about habits and daily life. Now, let's go back to the questions. In this lesson, did I give them the context? Daily life context? Yes or no? And you have to tell me what was that context. What was the context that I gave in this lesson? Sunday was the context, right? What do you do on a Sunday? And as Kirti said, audio is also the context. Audio is the mode of the context, but the topic is, the theme is Sundays, habits. What do you do? Number 2, I did not explain it, but did we talk about the form and the meaning using an activity? How did we clarify the form? Yes. Fill in the blanks. Very good. Thank you, Hetal. How did we clarify the meaning? How did we clarify the meaning? By discussing with the partners. Step 3 here. Meaning is, when they understand it, only then they'll be able to give the correct answer, right? What does Sarah loves doing on Sundays? What does she love? What does she love to do on Sunday? And what is Sarah's dad doing at the moment? So basically, trying to understand if they have understood the meaning of this or not. Was I concise, giving them time to do the activity? Concise here means खुद कम बोल रहे हो, अभी तो मैं ही बोल रहा हूं वैसे. Right now only I'm speaking, but concise basically means that you're giving them time to do the activity. You're not talking yourself throughout the lesson. They are also speaking. So was I only explaining, or was I making them do the work as well? They mean students. I'm waiting for your answers in the chat box. Yeah. In case you disagree with me that I was not concise, I hope you're able to see me. My apologies for the internet. Are you able to hear me? Are you able to hear me? Okay, lovely. Thank you very much. Super. So concise basically means, I was just saying that if you disagree with me, that's absolutely all right. Concise means giving them the chance to speak as well. So students got the chance to speak as well. And using visuals. When I say visuals, yes, we can add more pictures, but visuals basically means using timeline. So I use the timeline. And I kept L1. L1, what is the meaning of L1? Can anybody tell in the chat box? Meaning of L1. L1 means mother tongue. Thank you very much. First language. Lovely. So I did not use L1 much, but yes, I gave context to the lesson. I've looked at the forms and the meaning as well. I was concise and visuals. So what do we understand from this lesson? What is the entire idea of this lesson? The entire idea of this lesson is make sure, excuse me. So the entire idea of this lesson is make sure, excuse me for the throat, make sure that you give context to the lesson, make sure that you clarify the form and the meaning, make sure that you're concise, make sure you use visuals, and that's how, ladies and gentlemen, you're able to teach grammar successfully. I repeat, you're able to teach grammar successfully. That's about it. So there's a little homework for us. The homework is, I'm going to give you a PDF. The PDF will be available to us very, very soon. You can go to the website. You'll be able to download the PDF there. There are going to be exercises 7.1 and 7.4. Actually, let me attach the PDF in the chat box here as well. I don't think I can attach it here. Thank you so much, Urmila. I'm not able to attach it here, but let me try. I'll give you the link in a short while. So when you get the PDF, there are going to be exercises 7.1 and 7.4. You have to tell me, you have to select any one exercise and tell me how will you adapt it to make it more communicative and meaningful. You have to keep these 5 things in mind: context, form and meaning, concise, visuals, and L1. And you have to write a brief explanation of how would you do that. Try to keep context, real life situations, encouraging personal expressions, and making it interactive in mind. Please take a screenshot of this. When you do this, send me an email to dos@englishschooloflondon.com by 12 p.m. Saturday. Apparently, there's no feedback on this activity, but I'd love to see what your answers are and how you would like to make this activity communicative. If you understand this mini assignment, show me a thumbs up, please. Okay, lovely, fair enough. Last time as well, there was an assignment. Sagar sent the assignment. Thank you, Sagar. Sagar is present in today's webinar as well. Lovely. I'm going to give the PDF in a short while, Tasneem. Just one moment. Let's quickly recap what we did. But before I show you what we did, I want to ask you in the chat box, if there's anybody who wants to speak, please raise your hand and I will unmute you. Please raise your hand and I will unmute you. Hi, Vinita. I think you can talk now. Thank you. You have to unmute. Not Vinita. Anybody else who can tell us what did you learn today? All right, let's see. Urmila. Urmila, you can talk. Just one moment. Urmila, you can talk now. Please unmute yourself. Thank you.
Yeah. Can you hear me? Am I audible?
Yes.
Yeah. Thank you so much for this webinar. And yes, it was very useful. I mean, although we are teaching, but sometimes we just, keep aside or maybe just brush off tiny things. But this was really helpful. And we again refreshed everything, which was actually technically, which should be a part of teaching when we are teaching English. So the webinar is very interesting and I'm looking forward to more such webinars. Thank you so much for your time and everything. And I also do activity that you have told us.
Sorry, could you repeat again? What did you say? Last part?
I would also try to do the activity which you have given us, the mini activity. I'll definitely do it and try to send you by 12 p.m. Saturday.
You're most welcome. Thank you so much for your kind words. Alvina, you can speak now. Thank you. Alvina, you have to unmute yourself.
Network is being funny. Am I audible?
Yes, you're audible now. Please go ahead.
Hi. Thank you for giving this opportunity to me to speak. It was a lovely webinar for me, being a very first time teacher into this educational industry. And I learned a lot. And I'm even pursuing many courses, as you spoke about TESOL too. So I'm even learning that. And it's really benefited me for my students, especially. I teach in PPRT. I teach my third standard and second standard student. That will be very helpful for them. How can I can engage them to encourage them to speak English and to know English in a very good manner.
Thank you so much for joining ESOL's webinar series, Alvina. It's absolutely lovely to see that there is a real life application that we can see immediately. So thank you very much. Aditi, you're welcome. Aditi, you can speak now. Thank you. You have to unmute yourself. Hi, Aditi, are you there?
Am I audible?
Yes, you're audible now. Please go ahead.
Perfect. Thank you so much for letting me speak for this opportunity. And it was a wonderful session, like all of before me, people said it. And honestly, I learned a lot. I'm a communication coach at Amazon. So I always grab the opportunity to learn whenever I get uh, time. So yeah, always learning. And I'm looking forward to the sessions you conduct in the future. And yeah.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
You were amazing.
Thank you so much for being a part of our webinar series. It's good to see corporate trainers like yourself. It's always a pleasure to connect. Thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. All righty. Thank you. So here are the references of what we did today. Please have a look. We looked at Penny. Penny is, my God, ever since I started teaching, Penny P is the initials of her name. Penny is a very, very famous linguist. She has written a lot of books, and to teachers who are a part of our teacher training courses, हम उनको बहुत सारी books देते हैं. Penny, we give them a lot of books related to Penny 2012. So आज का जो lesson था, today's lesson is inspired from Penny 2012, Raymond Murphy and M. Swan 2017. So these were the three references books that we used for today's lesson. What did we learn today? Just to quickly recap, please have a look. Starting from the beginning, we understood welcome, welcome, welcome. Who am I? Defining grammar. What is the difference between syntax and morphology? You played a wonderful game. You gave wonderful answers. Then we looked at the grammatical debate, what the research says. Conclusion is, then we looked at what is explicit and implicit teaching. We looked at some activities. What are the pros and cons of explicit, implicit teaching? Then we looked at, finally, what is the conclusion? The conclusion is, and I'm putting this in the chat box for you, please have a look. Do not leave just yet. Very, very important. Let's revise it. Good learning is a combination of real life application with explicit teaching, but majorly real life application. Then I did model A, model B, and we understood that model B is implicit teaching. Model A is too much talking and is explicit teaching. 30-year-old method, we have to stop doing that. Then we looked at what the homework is, recapping and references. And the most important thing, there's a surprise for all the teachers who are in the room with us right now. ESOL has the next TESOL batch if you want to be an internationally qualified linguist or a corporate trainer or an English teacher We have the next batch coming on the 29th, the 5th of August, and one is starting on the 29th of July as well. It's got 12 seats in it. Of course, there are multiple batches across the day. The batches are predominantly taught by 2 teacher trainers at ESL, myself and Dr. Vinita. Not Dr. Vinita in the chat box, that's a different Dr. Vinita. These are the things that we focus on. We focus on teaching skills, language awareness, learner profile, material assignment, and assessment. Your assessment is based on live teaching, so you teach in the classroom. You create your own portfolio and journals. There are written assignments, of course, participation and attendance and final evaluation. With the help of this certificate, you go to employers around the country, basically displaying your expertise. Not only do you become a corporate trainer or an ESL teacher, but at the same time can get managerial positions with this. Why am I discussing this? ESOL is offering almost 10,000 rupees flat sponsorship for all those teachers who are interested in doing the TESOL program or any other teacher training, such as VNA trainers as well. There are 2 courses that ESOL is offering sponsorship on for 9,999, VNA trainers and certificate TESOL by ESOL. So in case you're interested, you can text in the chat box. I have sent the link. You can send a message to the counselors expressing your expressions of interest that you would like to know more about the sponsorship and the certificate TESOL by ESOL to avail the 9,999 scholarship. This sponsorship is valid for the next 48 hours. So read about the course, get to know about basically what are the elements of this course and how it can help you with that international certification in employment, in promotions, etc. If you're a new teacher starting out, it's a great opportunity to build a foundation. And that's about it. Thank you for being a part of this webinar, and lots of love, and looking forward to seeing you in the next webinar next week. Although मेरे पेट में कुछ पचता नहीं है, I'm not able to digest things. Let me tell you, next webinar is going to be about VNA training, how to be a voice and accent trainer. So if you're interested, stay tuned, check out the emails by ESOL, and I'm sure it'll be a great learning curve. Any questions for me in the chat box? Any questions for me in the chat box? Have a nice day, Hetal. Lovely, Sagar. It'll be a pleasure. Thank you. Okay, guys. Yes, Aditi, one of the most important things that ESOL helps all the trainers with is, or all the teachers, is with placement. So ESOL gets you in touch once you have your certificate. ESOL gets you in touch with the placement cell at ESOL only that helps you with basically providing with 3 top opportunities across the country with very good packages. Of course, all of this is dependent on your TESOL certificate or CELTA certificate and the depth of the certificate as well and how you perform. But yes, it helps you with job placements as well. Oh, Hetal was in London. Sagar has already registered. Yes, I'm aware, Sagar. Welcome. I am looking forward to seeing you in the 29th batch. Good night. Take care. Lots of love. Bye-bye. Thank you. Take care. There's a feedback that's coming. Please give your feedback. That's very important for me, okay? Otherwise, the school will kill me. So make sure that you give your feedback, please. Malini says, grammar must be caught, not taught. I believe ESOL is doing excellent. Yeah, thank you. I appreciate. That's a phrase from Malini, ladies and gentlemen. Let's clap for it. Grammar must be caught, not taught. Nice. Bye-bye, guys. Take care. Do fill the feedback form, please. Thank you. Ciao, ciao.